We're monitoring the Cal Fire incident update this morning. It looks like they're a couple minutes from getting started. So let's go over to Dylan Brown, who joins us with the incredible pictures and videos you've been sending us. Dylan?
Thank you, Kelly. All right, there we go. Thank you, Kelly. We just want to get a real quick look. A lot of people have been sending in amazing pictures of first responders coming to scenes throughout this past week. So I wanted to kind of get this out there. You can also go to our Chimed mobile app and send us pictures. You go click on Explore, and then you click on Add Media, and we'll be in the local news tab. All right, it looks like the conference has started, so we're going to go ahead and take it to that real quick.
Started with the briefing, but before we do so, for those that may not be aware, yesterday on the Ferguson fire, unfortunately there was another fatality of a hotshot, Brian Hughes. I'd like everybody to remove their head covers. And we'll take a moment of silence thinking about Brian and his family. Thank you. We'll get started with update on current conditions.
Good morning, Tony Brown on Incident Management Team 1, Night Operations. Good things and bad things last night. So we'll start around the horn. So Tango and Sierra did pretty well last night. The fire up here in Papa in that area is hung up mid-slope, dangerous area, inaccessible, no safety zones, but no movement on it. So we're working on with the helicopters and stuff, keeping that in check, and we'll keep that from moving any further. Down in the Union, Victor Tango is looking real good. Patrol mop up, not much movement last night, no issues. Down in the X-Ray and Yankee, X-Ray quiet. Yankee, we're building some line out here out in front, trying to tie it back in with the County Line Road, and eventually we'll tie that back into the main fire. Working up into Foxtrot, we had some issues with Foxtrot and Charlie. So the fire got across County Line Road up in Charlie. We're working on a line, bringing it down in a more favorable country that we react to it. Line's almost complete. Hopefully we'll do a firing operation here eventually. Foxtrot, we had some issues last night. It came across County Line Road about 5:30 last night, and it's kind of progressing. It's not burning real active as far as spread goes, but it's a nice warm fire. We're trying to cut this little finger off right here to keep it from moving into the Lewiston area. So moving up into Branch 2 with Hotel. Hotel got across County Line Road yesterday. It's about 2 miles long, a couple hundred yards inaccessible. Tough country. So we're working on another line to keep it from moving south any further. Up in Division Mike, same thing. They're working on getting it tied in. There's a lot of pockets in here, especially around French Gulch area. We're trying to tie those in to keep it out of French Gulch any further. Just very dirty burn, very erratic area. They also talked about some contingency lines we're putting in, trying to keep it out of the area. We're making good progress. It's just slow, but we'll get there. Have a safe shift.
I'd like to call your attention to page 1 in your IAPs. On page 1, on the incident ICS Form 202, you'll find the management and control objectives. Take the time to read those, and during your breakout sessions and tailboard briefings to review those with your crews. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Alex Hoon, incident meteorologist. Okay, so red flag warning is expiring this morning at 8 a.m. So it has been going on for the last couple of days. For your guys' shift, you guys are not going to be under red flag warning for today. So I do have a little bit of good news. Your recoveries last night were actually about 50 to 60% for most of the fire area. Some of the lower elevations down toward Reading, we actually recovered close to 70%. So you're starting off the morning good with some good recovery there. There is some down drainage winds that we're seeing this morning, especially down in Branch 1, down in these lower drainages, mainly from the north. And so those down drainage winds are going to continue until about 1100 this morning. And then as we get a little bit of heating, as the middle of the part of the day and into the afternoon, we're going to be turning around to an up valley, up drainage wind from the south to southeast. And then out here in Branch 2, it's probably going to be a little bit more from the east-southeast. So all these drainages have their own specified wind that's actually coming up the drainages. So just be aware of where you are, your topography, and know that the winds are going to be generally terrain-driven this afternoon, about 5 to 10 miles per hour in those drainages, moving up the drainage. Now, as we get into the evening time, We are expecting those winds to switch around, see a little bit of a northwest wind, especially up here on branch 2 and branch 3, getting that northwest push in the evening after 1800, 1900, and then going into the overnight period, you're going to see that northwest wind about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then eventually by the early morning hours after midnight and into tomorrow morning, you're going to start seeing that transitioning back into your down drainage winds for branch 1 and branch 2, branch 1 and branch 4. Now, it's going to be another hot and dry one out there today. Temperatures are going to be around 95 to 102 for your high temperatures. Your minimum humidities will be dropping down into the mid-teens, mid or lower teens, so about 10 to 15% or so for your minimum humidities this afternoon. Good recoveries expected for tonight as we get into the overnight period. 35 to 40%, maybe even 50 or 60% like we did last night. So expecting to see some better recoveries tonight. And the one thing I wanted to stress to you guys is the unstable atmosphere. We still have a very unstable atmosphere out there. It's going to be Haines 6 for today. If you see any kind of clear air, the smoke is over the entire fire area, okay? The densest smoke right now is down in branch 1 and branch 4. Now, expect that smoke to hang around for most of the day. You may see a little bit of clearing. You may see a little bit of improvement in visibility, but don't expect a whole lot because we're under that subsidence inversion, so it's not going to be mixing out any of the smoke anytime soon. So expect to see low visibilities throughout the day. If you do get any clearing, if you see any blue sky, heads up, okay? Heads up for the blue sky. That means that you're getting some good solar radiation. You're getting some good lift in the atmosphere. So that is your key that Haines 6 can kick in if you start to see some blue sky, all right? That's all I have for the weather. You guys have a safe shift. Thank you.
Good morning, Don Bursay, Fire Behavior. Those of you that were here yesterday, bear with me for a bit. I want to get this new shift, everybody on the same page regarding the fire behavior and the potential that exists out there for us. 3 drivers of fire behavior: fuels, weather, topography. Well, the initial stages of this fire, what we had is we had a wind-driven fire, and you can see by the elongated perimeter that that's what we had, pushing it down into the communities here. Now we're transitioning a little bit more into fuels and topography-driven fire, so you'll start to see this turn into more of a circular perimeter pattern as the fire moves about in the various areas. So what this means to you is that let's go over some existing, like Alex talked about, some existing patterns that are normal for the area. Down here, kind of near where we're at, there's a thermal low that exists down here. This thermal low is caused by heat rising. Then that brings in the wind from the coast. It's cooler, and it just funnels down this drainages. So that's what initially happened. Now what we have going on is we have smoke from fires that exist everywhere, all throughout the state, and smoke from our own fire. What this smoke is doing is it's putting a lid, you visual learners out there, it's putting a lid over the top of this fire. If we remove this lid and that smoke starts to clear, now we have the opportunity for pyrocumulus activity and more extreme fire behavior. So that's what's going on in this area right now. So let's go through the various branches. Down here at the southern end, your motivation for controlling this southern end of the fire is that we don't want it to go further south. Further south, we enter into an area called the Arbuckle Wind Corridor. These winds will kick in about 7 o'clock tonight and go till 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Up to 30 miles an hour can be a norm down here further south of the fire. So that's your motivation here on branch 1. Lighter, flashier fuels further south, heavier, more decadent timber up north as we move in. As we get over here on the branch 2, we get over on County Line Road. This is a mid-slope road. This is a watch-out situation for you guys, that if you have fire down below you, keep alert to that. Be watching out for your escape routes. But what we have over here at the division break of Charlie and Foxtrot, little cleaner timber, but don't get complacent with that. What I mean by that is that there's limited dead and down there, but this is a topography-driven fire. Because the slopes are so steep, that steep slope will preheat that canopy, torch those upper canopy fuels, and start spotting across the line for you. So there's your challenges here. As you move further north, now you get into thicker, more decadent, dead and down, fuels-driven fire type up in here. The the trigger for large fire growth in these models, and it's an analysis I did 6 years ago, is an 8-mile-an-hour eye level wind. If you feel that 8-mile-an-hour eye level wind, expect extreme fire behavior in the timber models here on the Shasta Trinity. So thicker, more decadent, just expect all sorts of different runs going on here in the timber. As we get more north, same thing. As we get over here onto branch 3, creeping, backing, smoldering should be the norm today. But again, always an opportunity for growth down here. And Division 4, more of the same, creeping, backing, smoldering, ash pits, and so on. So have a good day. I'll be available for questions.
Good morning, Paul Carlos, Resource Unit Leader, Team 1 with branch and divisional roll call. So as usual, as I call out your name, please shout out and stand up so everybody can see you. Starting in branch 1, Turman, Taylor, Victor, Swinson, X-Ray, Rayleigh, Yankee, Miller, County Line Contingency, Brunk, branch 2, Knoll, Charlie, Wallen, Foxtrot, Collins, Hotel, Cown, branch 3, Campbell, Mike, Boyk, Oscar, Bakken, Papa, Laws, branch 4, Fields, Sierra, Davis, Tango, Matson, Union, Valles, North Contingency, Gomez, Shasta Group, Bell, and Reglan, Anderson Staging, Bidwell, and Price. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Derek Davis, Day Operations, CAL FIRE Team 1. So today's motto is small victories. We're going to make small victories. We have been this whole entire fire, even though it seems like it's getting out in certain areas. But small victories get us to the end state here. So for branch 1, we're going to continue everything here in X-Ray and Yankee moving this way. The contingency line holding everything behind here, which has been successful so far, and then continuing the dozer line out ahead in the County Line Road. Division Charlie, Foxtrot, and a branch 2. We're going to evaluate things going out to the Trinity Dam and River out this way. The fire got out on us in a few areas, and it's just because it took fuels and everything. We can't see the fire that's out there if you guys haven't been out there recently. The smoke's impacting our ability for air operations and visibility too at the same time. So we're going to look at bigger things coming out this way towards the Trinity Dam with contingency lines and make catcher's mitts for this thing as it comes that direction, and then find targets of opportunity to fire it back. Coming around branch 2 to Mike, Oscar, and Papa. Again, they got out across the County Line Road. We've got areas we can pick it up now that we're in SPI country with more available roads and water sources out this way. So we're going to continue to build contingency lines here and provide catcher's mitts for it up here as well. Everything along branch 3 into Oscar, Papa, Sierra has all been holding up in here in the OHV park up into there's an old fire here it's back down into, it's burning, it's still burning in some of the drainages, and we've been working, not retardant, but helicopter drops. And then we've also got OHV park trails that we can tie this back into today. So that's the priority for this area over here too. For Sierra, Tango, and Uniform, everything that's down in the city, we're going to continue to hold this. We actually put black line on the map because we're feeling confident that this is going to hold here. So let's please validate that and make sure it doesn't come out any further into the city of Reading and any of the communities here, because we want to get this people back in and a new sense of normalcy for them too. So hold this, continue to do it. Construct line here, moving up and around. Contingency lines going around here. Same thing with over here in branch 1, and then hold and construct line down in here in the bottom end here. That's our operational priorities for today. Fixed wing, if we can fly, it's going to be up here, and rotor wing supporting everything out these two directions. Have a safe day. If there's any questions, talk to your branches and divisions. Thank you.
Good morning, Matt Hill, Air Operations Incident Management Team 1. We'll have air attack and Helco up early this morning. Weather dependent, we'll have fixed wing up. For rotor wing, we'll have 14 water droppers for today. And air to ground, please monitor and keep it brief. Make it a safe day. Thank you.
Good morning, Baraka Carter, Safety Officer for Team 1. Today we're going to have 4 line safety officers assigned to the incident. There'll be a branch resources. With the extended triple digits that we've had throughout the incident, you're going to have hydration stations deployed throughout the incident. Please utilize those appropriately. They're there for your well-being. We're starting to get an influx of minor medical emergencies. With the IEPs, they're handing out the medical emergency line emergency cards. Go over that with your resources. Ensure that they understand the proper process, the procedures, to get the information back to comms. That gives us the ability to provide the appropriate services in response to your folks out there. And lastly, the one thing that you need to understand, down in Victor, Union, Tangle, there's going to be a lot of discussions about repopping those areas outside the burn area, all right? So if you're working in those divisions, be prepared for an influx of civilians, a lot of looky-loos, and make sure that your folks are visible. Have a good shift.
Good morning, Tom Webb, Communications Unit Leader. Hey, for everyone that's here today, we changed command nets yesterday morning back to over to Shasta Command. So if you did not get cloned, come get a clone from us. Please come and do that today. So most of you should have to come in and get cloned this morning. We had good feedback on that frequency yesterday, so it looked like it worked really well, covered the area. Just to go around it, we've got Hoadley Peak up here on the top. We've got them on the maps, and there's a supplemental radio map should be in your map packet covering where everything's at. Hoadley Peak, Tone 14 seems to be covering the fire really well. Tone 15 Sugarloaf's up top off of this big map. We've got Bear Mountain over here, and then Inskip down below off the bottom of the map. We have good radio coverage, but come and get a clone this morning if you have any questions. Some of those drainages and stuff, you might need to utilize human repeaters, have persons on those ridge tops to be able to get back to us. Have any questions, come see us. Thank you.
Good morning, Justin Winnan, CAL FIRE Team 1, Medical Unit Leader. Please turn to page 35. 35. As you heard safety talk about proper reporting procedures. If anybody doesn't know, July 25th, 2008, Andy Palmer lost his life in Dutch Creek, which is in Trinity County, just to the west of us. After the review of that incident, they came up with the Dutch Creek Protocol, which you find in box 6, page 35. Please, please learn it, know it, use it. We need to get you guys the proper resources. We need to know what's going on. That is why it's there. It's also called the 9 line. Everybody gonna go over that? Thank you. So on the incident, we have 2 ambulances assigned. We have 8 line paramedic groups spread out throughout the fire. Expeditors is over there for your needs for health and safety. At the fairgrounds in Red Bluff, we're also setting up a vendor down there, Frontline. Please review this at your division breakouts. You review it in your engine, in your buses. Please go over it. If unfortunately we have to go through it today, we want to hear this. Thank you.
Good morning, Craig White, Team 1 Logistics. Line orders. Do the best you can to get those orders in early for us. There's a pretty good lead time in some of the areas of the fire, so just factor that into your requests. And again, anything you leave out there on the line, make sure you get a 101 signed by your division soup. The big thing that's happening today, we're opening up a second camp down in Red Bluff. It's at the Tehama Fairgrounds. We have the National Guard fire crews coming in today. They'll be camped out down there. And then all of you out-of-state engines, at the end of your shift today, you'll be heading down to that camp. So when you leave the line, just head down to that camp. On page 51 in the IAP, there's a travel map for that. All your feeding, sleeping, and all those needs will be met down there. You will still come back here to this camp at 0700 tomorrow for briefing. So the briefing will be at this camp. There's a camp map in that IAP as well on page 49. We're identified as the Tehama camp in Red Bluff. Have a safe shift. Anything you guys need, let us know. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jack Franklin, Finance Section Chief, CAL FIRE, Team 1. If I can get you to turn to page 41 for me. I'm going to add on to what Craig just said. The other base camp is going to be, starting up here shortly. All the finance paperwork is still going to be done over here. Okay, so any of those out-of-state resources will need to come over here to get their paperwork done. We'll be located in the Fusaro building, which is on your right-hand side, on the other side of the comm trailer over there. Okay, so any hired equipment, make sure we're dropping off, making sure you're getting all your agreements in here. Division soups, if you can, stop by the cost apportionment trailer. Make sure all those shift tickets are getting turned in. For comm claims, any injuries, any vehicle damage, including rental vehicles, if we're having that out there, it needs to be documented. Stop by comm claims. Again, no off-site feeding. In the IAP, there's a water use report. Any water that's used on the incident needs to be documented, and that needs to be turned into comm claims as well. If you have any questions, stop by the finance section. We also have a federal time shop set up, so any of our federal counterparts, go ahead and please stop by and drop off your CTRs. You guys have a safe shift.
Good morning, Rich Brokini Information, CAL FIRE Team 1. If you guys can turn to page 40, your IAP, please. So at the very top, there's 2 phone numbers, Incident Information and Media Line. Please give those out respectively to the public or to the media so we can assist their needs. In the status box, update information on that. Acreage is 98,724 acres, 20% contained, and personnel is 3388. Social media policy, please read this, be familiar with it, pass it down to your crew, and make sure we follow that. Media has a right to be in some certain areas unless they're impeding operations or private property. So if you have a need to address media, please get a hold of us and we'll make sure we're sending a PIO out there. And we still have a lost and found over at the PIO trailer, and we have a mail service to assist your needs. Thank you. Stay safe.
Good morning, everybody. Michael Ming, Deputy Chief of CAL FIRE Employee Support Services Program. It's our peer support program. I just want to take a moment right now to honor our brother Brian Hughes, who lost his life on the Ferguson fire. That's number 2 that the Ferguson fire has taken from us. And as you all know, we have had 2 of our first responders taken on this fire. That has great impact on us all. And if there's anybody here that knows Brian or worked Brian since it's so new, I just want to let you know that if you're affected or feeling the effects, peer support's here. And no stigmas attached, just come on in. We got a trailer right over here by check-in. It's air conditioned. There's a cell phone charging station. It's all good, okay? So what I also want to do is I want to implore all of you to just take care of yourself. I hope you're well rested, well fed, and well hydrated. That's pretty basic and key as you move out onto the line today. But I want you to take care of yourself, take your own inventory, take care of your crews, take care of your families, communicate with your families. That is a very important piece. And just know that we're all hoping, and I'm sure you're all hoping, that you're going to return home happy and healthy to your families when this thing's all over. With all of our federal, state, local cooperators, everybody on the same team coming to put this thing to bed, I am very grateful. My team is very grateful. This team, the unit, and everybody around here is very grateful for your hard work. Just be safe. And to that end, have a very safe and efficient shift. Thank you.
Before we move to final comments from our unified commanders, a couple of announcements. If you are a cooperator, there will be a cooperators meeting in the Shasta Hall at 1000 hours. If you are a trainee, please make sure you get credit for this incident by checking in with the training tech spec located in the Fasaro Hall. Additionally, unassigned resources at the completion of the briefing, please report to the table to your left, my right, and check in there so you can receive an assignment. And once again, if you, before leaving, make sure branches and divisions are downloading with Deputy Ops their resource roll call. California local resource engine companies, please make sure you're checking in with OES. And additionally, as a reminder, out-of-state engine companies at the completion of the shift, please make sure you're reporting to the Tehama camp located in Red Bluff. Final comments from our incident commanders.
Good morning. Rick Young, Unified Incident Commander of the National Park Service. We started the day with some tough news. Another tough day. Lost Captain Hughes yesterday. That's our 3rd firefighter in a week. 4 in the last 2.5. And that tends to take its toll on us. But not just us. I don't know about you guys, I couldn't do this job without the love and support of some folks back home. So if you guys haven't reached out to your loved ones back home in a couple of days, I'm going to ask you to take a few minutes a day to give them a call and let them know you're doing all right. I'm sure they would appreciate it. The news of firefighter deaths and injuries tend to take a chink out of their armor while we're gone. So make sure you reach out to those folks. The good news today is we're up to 20% containment. And I recognize the conditions you guys are working in out there. And I recognize the thousands of hours that go into each one of those percentage points as that containment starts to tick up. So I appreciate your hard efforts out there. Keep up the good work and be safe. Thanks.
Morning. Incident Commander Trainee Greg Ritelli. I said it yesterday, but I'm going to say it again today. I truly have been humbled this week. First of all, with fire behavior, but more than that, by all of you and the work that went in, the lives that have been saved, and the perimeter control that continues to go in. What I ask of you is to continue to do that. Fight that fight and be out there. Have compassion for the public like you have, because that's critical. As you go out there today, you're an expertise in your field, whether you're running a dozer, a hand crew, engines, bring that to the table. Find those targets of opportunity and take them. Take them aggressively, but take them safely. So bring that expertise, share the knowledge, move home, and come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. As a reminder, breakouts are to the rear of the briefing area. They are posted. Once again, unassigned resources, please check in. Thank you for your attention.
And there you have it, the brand new numbers from the Carr fire, morning incident update, and I'm going to recap some of the main takeaways from that meeting. So the main takeaway that we heard was the containment is up from 17% as it was last night up to 20%. That is encouraging news that there was any increase in containment because it seemed like it had stayed at about 5% for several days. So overnight it was up to 17% and now up to 20%. The total size of the fire, 98,724 acres, containment 20% as mentioned. The number of structures threatened remains at 5,000. And there was also an update in the number of structures destroyed. That number is 723. 723 structures destroyed. Number of commercial structures destroyed, 3. Again, residential structures destroyed is up to more than 700 now. Earlier this morning, that number was upwards of 600. Now it's up to 723. And we should point out that the number of structures destroyed, it's not like 100 structures were destroyed overnight. They are simply getting a more accurate count of the number of structures destroyed because they're able to go into some of these fire damaged areas. The situation summary is firefighters working through the night to build control lines. Today, crews will work to mitigate the potential spot fires as shifting winds, dry fuels, and street drainages exist below control lines. The red flag warning expires at 8 a.m., so half an hour from now. Damage assessment will continue as follows. And another important takeaway we were noticing on the fire map, and we're going to get to the new map as soon as we can get a readable version of that. But the new fire map that they were explaining at that briefing showed that there was increased containment on the southeast side of the fire. So in other words, the placer area. And so that is important because that is protecting some heavily populated area, or at least more heavily populated areas than some of the more rural areas. They did express concern about keeping the fire from moving due south because they said once they get into an area a little further south of where the fire currently is, that's an area that tends to pick up some winds at night, and that could drive the fire further. So one of their meteorologists really was emphatic in saying you need to keep the fire from going further due south. So that was one of the big takeaways. But for those of you who live in the placer area, you should be reassured because they said they have a containment line there, and we'll look at that on the map coming in a bit. We need the visuals to go with this, but I just want to quickly summarize the newest information because I know many of you have been waiting through the early morning hours for this latest update, containment up to 20%. Now, our team of reporters has been out and about getting the latest information in the fire zone. Courtney Kreider joins us from Zog Mine Road in the Igo area. That's in the southern part of this fire. She said the Veterans Memorial Bridge is still standing, but the fire is very active. We go to her now. Courtney.
Really good news for people out on Zog Mine Road. The fire is very active if you go further west, but I'm right here. I'm in this area with a big herd of cattle. These guys actually have a lot of fresh green grass to eat. They're over here saved by the fire, and I know it was a huge concern to get livestock out. We had people coming in, Shasta County Search and Rescue, just filling trailers with cattle, horses, any animals they could. But these cows out here are very happy, doing well, and it looks like this whole herd was saved over here. We've got some little baby calves as well. But this is past on Zog Mine Road. This is just past the Igo Elementary School. Those areas all saved, which thank goodness, because when I was here on Saturday, it was when that wall of fire was coming towards, it went across the Veterans Memorial Bridge, and that bridge actually is still standing. I was able to get off of there today, or get through to Igo. But we've got these this herd coming up. I'm going to give you a little closer view just because it's some great news for those folks that are in the Zog Mine area. And each home that I went up to on my way here is all saved. So these structures are still standing. It looks like the fire spared this area. However, it is, of course, still coming towards that end of Zog Mine, which is that west end. So that is where an active part of the fire is. But clearly these guys over here, they aren't bothered. It is smoky, but they've got some real fresh green grass to graze. They're acting pretty normal. As you can see, I've kind of drawn a crowd here. So if this is your herd of cattle and you have not been able to come back into your home, they are safe, they're happy, they look well fed. So that's some good news for those out there. On my way here, I came up Swayze and Placer to that west end where the fire had taken out that area before it came to the Igo area. And a lot of homes that are between Texas Springs and that Leading Pine Road, those homes in that area are safe. I've got this guy coming over trying to say hi, but that includes the Gold Run, Silver King, those roads over there. If they were fine a couple days ago, they are still standing today, and there are several fire engines actually performing structural protection. So they said if they haven't gone yet, that they're not going to let that happen. They are there to protect them just in case anything sporadic happens again, which of course we've seen in this fire. Let's give you one more shot of these big guys over here. Just some good news out here in Igo area off of Zog Mine Road. And I actually see a fire engine pulling up. They've been checking on these animals as well. So Kelly, I'm going to head to that active area of the fire, but I just wanted to show that these guys are okay as well as the homes out here. I'm going to send it back to you.
Courtney and her many new friends. And just a side note, you can tell Courtney is a Shasta County native. She was completely comfortable with her new pack of friends as they gazed into the camera. That was just fantastic, and I'm glad to see the cows are doing okay. They looked very curious about what Courtney was doing. So that report from Zog Mine Road in the Igo area, and appreciate that live report. We'll be back with more continuing coverage on the Carr fire right after this.
KRCR News Channel 7.
You are looking live at the Carr fire tonight. It is burning dangerously larger here in Shasta County. KRCR Chief.
We have two reporters at the scene of the fire. We'll check in with them live throughout the show so you have the information that you need to stay safe.
Gained just overnight. I'm actually with CAL FIRE Division Chief Chris Anthony right now, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the behavior.
KRCR News Channel 7, alerting you to danger. When the questions count.
Do you think
Drive.
Closed captioning is provided by Strange and Son Fencing, fencing solutions of all kinds.
Welcome back to our 24/7 coverage of the Carr fire. As firefighters battle containment on the Carr fire, the nation's top investigators are making their way here to the North State. CAL FIRE's Serious Accident Review Team, or SART, is taking on what's behind the fire's extreme behavior that is claiming lives. Courtney Kreider brings us an exclusive look at the aftermath of one near-death operation.
What you're seeing here are two CAL FIRE vehicles that encountered extreme fire behavior.
Two firefighter vehicles coming back with severe damage, unsafe to drive after serving as a bunker Thursday night during a rescue operation on the Carr fire.
This vehicle is new within the last year. It looks like it's been through a battle.
Firefighters breaching a torched area to save residents who chose to stay behind. 5 out of these 6 windows in this pickup truck were blown out. Fire investigators trying to figure out what kind of extreme fire behavior made this happen. Erratic winds and hot, dry conditions, firefighters describing a tornado of fire forming on multiple areas of Shasta County. First, jumping an arm of Whiskeytown Lake, wiping out the Oak Bottom Marina, then claiming Redding neighborhoods one by one. This home untouched by the flames, damaged by an uprooted oak tree instead.
Those are all things that we look at and take into consideration when trying to reconstruct what took place during these tragic events.
Whatever the extreme fire behavior is, it's ripping up asphalt, sending pieces through windshields like bullets.
That's not fire marks, that's actual asphalt that is on the side of this vehicle.
Flames jumped Highway 299, chasing them out. CAL FIRE emphasizing how important it is to evacuate after this nearly fatal operation. Reporting from the fire line, Courtney Kreider.
7:38 is the time. Just into our newsroom, police have arrested 2 men for knowingly being in an evacuated zone. Last night, they took Brian Cordoza into custody in the area of Benton Drive and Delta Street, and they later arrested Frank Webb in the 4900 block of Cedars Road. Both men have been booked into the Shasta County Jail. Well, after listening to that briefing with CAL FIRE on the conditions this morning on the Carr fire, Mike Kruger was also listening in with great interest, and he's here to interpret what he's taking away from those latest bits of information. Mike?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kelly. And a lot of people at home right now are wondering, can I go home? Do I have to stay where I am? What's going on here? All right, so here's what I've done here. We don't have the official map that CAL FIRE had shown in that briefing just a few minutes ago. But what I was able to do is someone was able to send me a photo of that containment line, and that was really the important thing that I was watching, because it's that plaster line, right, that we're really keeping a close eye on. And there are a lot of homes in that area and a lot of concerned homeowners in that area that are watching. So I want to show you and zoom it in here. And again, this is from yesterday. This is the actual overlay from yesterday. It hasn't been updated yet, but the black line of containment I want to show you here. So let's kind of move this out and zoom it in here in this general area right here. Just keep zooming it in a little bit more. There, perfect. All right, so what I discovered, and let's bring it down here first of all. The black line of containment was for this whole area right here. That black line of containment started there and made its way all the way down here. So let's zoom it in here, right up here, to kind of show you where that containment line is. And again, keep in mind, the black line's not there because this is not the updated information. This is based on what I saw. Bring it down a little bit more and zoom it in here. This is, let me get in there, East Shore Road. All right, so the East Shore Road at Quartz Hill Road right here, that's the black line of containment. This, by the way, not a black line of containment. It's right here, and then it keeps on going down. That's all contained there. Let's bring you down, and it just kind of, the perimeter at this point is all black. Let's bring it to, I'm sorry, this way. There we go, thank you. And then kind of bring it around here. All of this is contained. Let's zoom it out now. If we could zoom it out a little bit. All right, containment, that's all good. This is all contained right here. Let's bring it down across the river now. Let's bring it up this way. Very good, a little bit more. So now let's zoom it in this area right here. I want to get it back to Placer. I'm getting a little bit backwards. There's too many overlays. I was hoping to maybe get in there. All right, there's Mary Lake. All right, bring it this way. Bring it up. Thank you. Let's keep going here. There's Placer. Okay, here we are at Placer. Let's keep going this way. Okay, good. Let's keep bringing it up this way. All right. We're still at Placer. Let's keep going this way. Boy, I'm getting, why that overlay is really messing me up right now. If we could get this out, that right there is the closures. If you can go into the settings in your thing, it should show closures. Take that out. Evacuations. There we go. Take that. Oh, perfect. Now we can see much better here. So let's bring it this way. I want to get it up to Swayze at least so I can get a better idea. I am really sorry, folks. I am having a hard time with this. I wish I could just control this right now with my own mouse here. Let's zoom it out a little bit more. I want to take it to Swayze. If you could find whoever's controlling this, or you could get me to Swayze Drive, which is down here. Let's keep going this way. Good. Let's see if we can find Swayze. I think that's Swayze right here. All right. There is a reservoir that I want to try to find here in a second here. Let's zoom it in. There we go. What's that reservoir? What does that say? Reese Reservoir. Okay, that's an important landmark here for me. And I can't give you an exact location of where that black line ends. So let's zoom it back out. Let's get to that containment line. It is somewhere around here. So it's not quite, I didn't quite see it at Grant School, but it might be somewhere in this area where that black line of containment ends. And then from here, it's no longer contained, all right? So that black line of containment around the Grant School area, maybe a little bit. Again, here's Grant School right here. So somewhere around here is where we still have that containment. As you head this direction, it is no longer contained. So let's zoom it out here so everyone has an idea. So again, if the Grant School is here, this is going to take you up to Buenaventura. So this is all contained right here along Placer. So that is obviously very good news. Now, we don't know for sure yet what that means for people being able to go home, because all of this is all the evacuated area that we were kind of, I was having them take out, but all of that's the evacuated area here, and I'm not the one who makes that final decision. So once we get word, we will be able to let you know, because I know there are a lot of people on edge. They want to get home. I would be impacted by this as well. That would mean, if this is all contained, as they say it is, that would mean I'd get to go home too, right? So, I'm on edge here, looking, waiting to find out. And as soon as we get that information, we will let you know if you can go home or if you can't go home yet. Again, that's not the decision we make. That's information we're going to find out. So, again, that's the latest that we're looking at. Hopefully, we can get the actual line itself, and we'll give you a much better idea where that line is from containment to non-containment. But it's somewhere around the Grant School area on Placer where that containment ends, and we still don't have containment down here. So that's the latest on that containment line, up to 20% as I last heard and remember. So we are finally starting to get some hope here from 3% to 5%, now up to 20%. This is great news. Firefighters are doing a fantastic job. Kelly.
Excellent breakdown of that map, and I'm looking at that, and that's exactly by Reese Reservoir where it kind of ends. So more on the map, more of a I'm calling him Map Master Mike, coming up a little later. We'll have more coverage of the Carr fire right after this.
KRCR News Channel 7.
You are looking live at the Carr fire tonight. It is burning dangerously larger here in Shasta County. KRCR Chief.
We have two reporters at the scene of the fire. We'll check in with them live throughout the show so you have the information that you need to stay safe.
Gained just overnight. I'm actually with CAL FIRE Division Chief Chris Anthony right now, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the behavior of the
KRCR News Channel 7, alerting you to danger.
I'm a senior in high school, and I'm the captain of a soccer team. You may have a child or grandchild like me in your family, but big difference. I'm a foster child. But lucky for me, I got a CASA volunteer, Arlene. Court-appointed